welcome to the latest episode of the Give My Head podcast. I'm Tim McGarry, joined by my comedy colleagues
Michael McDowell
and Damon Quinn.
Episode 39, lads. Can you believe it? We got the 39 episodes. You said we wouldn't last 3 episodes. We're here, episode 39. We have had all sorts of brilliant people on the show. Couple of plugs, ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know. Perforated Ulster is still on BBC Radio Ulster and on BBC Sounds, so listen to that. That's our weekly sketch show that goes out every Saturday morning on BBC Radio Ulster at morning 1:30, and then repeated on the Sunday. You can listen to it on BBC Sounds. The long and the short of it, our history show, the long and the short of it, is still on the iPlayer. There are 4 episodes of the long and the short of it. Delighted to say we'll be making more of those. Me and Dr. David Hume will be arguing about other bits of Irish history later this year. Give My Head Peace. We have a Give My Head Peace Christmas special coming up at Christmas, but if you can't wait to that, don't worry. Again, go on the BBC iPlayer, because there are loads of episodes on the BBC iPlayer of Give My Head Peace. I think it's about 30 odd, isn't it?
God, at least.
Is it something like that? What are and we're very, very excited to announce, ladies and gentlemen, that we have survived 39 episodes. We are doing very, very well. We have a very nice audience. We have a very discerning audience, a very intelligent audience. We love you so much, our audience, that we're inviting you to come to see us live. Yes, we're going to do our very first ever live podcast of the Give My Head podcast in the Mandela Theatre on Sunday, the 12th of October. Tickets are available now. There are links below if I do that there. Isn't that right, Dan? See, I'm talking to the techie guy. The links are below. We are in the Mandela Theatre. It'll be great crack. We haven't quite decided what will be there, what we'll be doing. There will be stand-up. There'll be a bit of comedy. There'll be a bit of talking about Give My Head Peace. We'll be talking to a few actors. We'll have a few guests. It'll be a bit of crack. So come along. If you like the podcast, come along, please, to the live podcast. That's the Give My Head podcast live at the Mandela Theatre in Sunday the 12th of October. That's the Mandela Theatre, of course, in Queen's University. Who's our guest today? I hear you ask, ladies and gentlemen. It's another very good friend of ours. It's a man who writes jokes for a Perforated Ulster. He's a stand-up. He's a writer. He is a very successful playwright. He is, ladies and gentlemen, give a massive welcome to Mr. Stephen Large. Stephen Large, thank you, my friend. Stephen, how are you, my friend? Well, when I say how are you, you're just out of hospital, aren't you?
I'm doing a hell of a bit better than I was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I was texting you about Perforated Ulcer because you write a few jokes for us, and you were lying in your bed, you know.
I was playing 5-a-side football and felt great running about like a headless chicken, and got home and had these like abdominal pains, and I thought it was trap wind. And then my girlfriend was telling me this horror story about a fella she knew who went up and turned out that he just needed a good fart and was humiliated in the hospital. So I was willing to die in the house at that point.
We've all needed a good fart.
Not blaming the guy, but still I prefer to do it in the comfort of my own house. But I was willing to let myself down after 2 hours of unbearable pain. And people saw me coming into A&E and thought I'd been stabbed. I was that hunched over. Unfortunately for them, I wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah. But I ended up whisked through. Usually there's a 10-hour wait. You know what it's like.
I've been in A&E. Yeah, it's not great. Yeah, so that's a good saying. This is serious. I could die here.
Yeah. And then I was being operated on at about 6 a.m.
Right.
And turned out that parts of my colon had collapsed and there was blockages and.
What do you do to get a collapsed colon?
High five a sale.
As I said, it's a men's mental health football group, so good for the head. Turns out not so good for the colon.
Right, seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, bloody hell.
Yeah.
But you're lucky it wasn't one of those farts, because those nurses and doctors, I mean, they say that they respect private patient confidentiality, but that would have gone round.
No.
Come on, Stephen Large, then you want to see a fart?
No, they would have been more than happy to humiliate me after the food review. I left.
Did you leave a food?
I did leave food.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Was it not?
No.
Was it not like a stay in Ox or the Muddlers Club?
No.
You didn't get a selection of wines to go with each course, did you?
The first day I got a bowl of green stuff and a bowl of yellow stuff. I know that I was getting flashbacks of school canteen lunches, so I know that the yellow one was custard, but the green one I still don't know. But the soft lighting and the flatulent 80-year-old old man facing me, that really created the ambience. Really? So, I don't know what was worse, him farting on me 24/7 or the food. But
well, you see, I come from a bit of a medical family. I have medical people in my family, and the people who know these things tell me about the NHS. You know, and they say the technical term is fucked. I think that the NHS is fucked. But then again, you go, they saved your life effectively. You know?
Yeah.
Would you die? Was it life threatening? Or was it?
I don't know. I don't know.
No, just had surgery, Tim.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying.
It was serious enough for them to operate on me within 6 hours, so I'm guessing it was serious enough. But I don't know what.
You see, they're brilliant at that sort of thing.
Traumatize it anymore, but
You just can't cook.
they were I have to be honest, from start to finish, from the porters that have vomited on to the doctors, nurses, everyone was fantastic, start to finish. We're so lucky to have it.
Yeah.
We all take the piss out of it. We all ridicule it until you need it, and then you realise just how important the thing is.
There's the lesson already. Pay your taxes, ladies and gentlemen. We need to support the NHS. Up the NHS.
On the food side of things as well. So
They did do good ice cream. Last time
Yes,
I
and
was
just
in
about
there,
to
they
talk
did
about
good
the
ice cream
because they're taking it off the menu.
Yeah.
Because of a listeria outbreak. So the first thing that I've eaten in 3 days after having my stomach ripped out, basically was a pot of ice cream.
the last time I was in hospital, I lived on the ice cream because
what's it called?
there wasn't a lot involved. I had to just go into the freezer and get a tub out and give it to you. So there was no chefing involved there now. But I lived on the ice cream.
Yeah, the ice cream was great. The only problem was the girl that sat it down on the tray for me said, "Oh, that must be back on the menu again after the listeria outbreak." And I went, "What?" And she went, "Oh, 3 people died." I haven't eaten in 3 days, and the ice cream looked fucking great, to be honest. But then I googled it while I was sitting there. I had the laptop out and writing off NHS outbreak, 3 people die of listeria, linked to whatever the ice cream was. I still had it, like. I was willing to risk it.
Well, listen, thank you very much for being on the show. Some people may not know you.
I find that very hard to believe.
No. You do a stand-up, but you're more behind-the-scenes guy. You started a brilliant website called the Dundonald Liberation Army, which was one of those satirical websites, along with things like Ulster France.
Correct.
But it was massively successsul. Do you know what the sad thing? If you Google Dundonald Liberation Army, there's a thing comes up and said that Dundonald Liberation is a fictitious cross-community paramilitary organisation. Well, thanks for spelling that out. It's a fictitious. Dundonald doesn't have a liberation army.
No.
So what was you're from Dundonald?
Yeah. Born and bred. Dundonald.
I have to say, I think we missed a trick just inviting you onto the show because I thought we should have invited Evan Little as well because we could have had Little and Large.
Very good. Very good.
Terrible joke.
Ivan was in one of the plays doing a cameo. He was a news reporter on the scene outside something, and he was just there via video link. But so I haven't actually worked with him directly, but he was involved in one of the plays. But the idea about the DLA was basically one day we get made part of Lisburn Council, despite there not even being a direct bus route.
It's disgraceful.
It was so came up with this idea. There was also a big thing in the news at the time about 1 in 5 people, the abuse of disability
DLA.
living alliance, so that was quite current, and then Lisburn taking over, so DLA, Dundonald Liberation Army, it sort of came from that, and as you say, it was like satirical news articles, but some people at the beginning couldn't tell the difference. They thought some of these were real. One of the best examples was Paul Clark, the UTV newsreader. Right. So I wrote, Paul Clark dies 62, but DYES.
Right.
And you would be astonished at how many people believed this. It actually went to his brother in Wisconsin who contacted home because he had heard.
Oh, right, seriously?
That he died. So Paul Clark had to go on to Twitter and say, yes, I have died, as in my hair.
My hair.
Yeah. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then the other one was the Michaela McCollum one.
Oh, right.
So if you remember, she got out of prison and
Michaela with the bum.
Yes. So she did that first interview.
Columbia.
Yeah.
But she avoided this. This was supposed to be this bombshell interview, but she basically dodged every question. And afterwards, no one spoke about that. It was to do with her signature bun hairdo was gone, and she had shoulder-length blonde hair. So I wrote a story the next morning saying that the Peruvian police were looking for a missing bun. And then, amazingly, the Peruvian police actually commented on the post saying, no, we're not. And then...
So you had fans in Lima?
Yeah. Apparently, they just do like a search, a Facebook search every day to see if they're mentioned, and stumbled across this and thought it was funny, so they joined in. But then I was having my lunch, and because of doing prior stuff with BBC, I got a phone call from BBC World News saying we're waiting on our Spanish-speaking correspondent coming back from his lunch, and then we're going to contact the police in Lima to see if it was actually them, and then run a story on it. And I was going, yeah, because this is the most prevalent topic in the world today. Go ahead.
Joke you do online, but you see, that's the thing. That's the power of online. And how did you start that? Did you just like comedy and thought I'll just take the piss out of things?
I always fancied myself being able to write funny stuff, on social media and whatever. And I've said previously, like, I took a lot of inspiration from what Lisa Harker did with putting something on Facebook and then taking it to the stage, and really just followed that model. Right. And thankfully the stuff
Lisa's
that
of course Maggie Muff and all
that.
Yeah.
50 Shades, yeah.
And it was massive. DLA stuff was massive. I remember getting it on. These guys are technophobes, but I used to get it all the time. And along with Ulster Fry, and there was a few other sites like that. But how many followers did you have at one stage?
It's slowed down. Yeah, but at the minute there's probably across all the channels probably about 100,000 followers across them for something that started off as a one-liner joke that just took off immediately, and it spawned a book which got to the top of the Amazon chart, couple of plays which have done well, and I would never have imagined that would have done that 9 years ago whenever it started.
Online, you can't make money online, can you?
I'm sure you can. I haven't.
No, we haven't either.
No, it's yes and no. So basically, from the posts per se, not really, but the more successful the posts are in terms of engagement, more people follow your page, and then when you put stuff up like links to tickets and whatnot, so it's a platform to plug other things essentially. But in terms of you needed to be in at the ground level with YouTube and more the video based content and getting ads on that and stuff. I missed the boat. As per usual.
Oh, missed the boat. Jeez, we didn't know where the
we didn't buy a ticket.
Where the sea was. We started a podcast last year because everybody else in the world did one.
Yeah, no, I'm the only person that doesn't have one. No.
Yeah, you're missing the trick. They're very good. Speak to these guys. They're very good. So you're East Belfast man, born and bred.
Yeah, well, nobody wants Dundonald. That's the thing.
Well, you see,
we're East Belfast. We're called the suburb of that, and they're not too keen on that.
You've got an ice bowl and all, like it's good.
Yeah, I know. 90.
Is that still the Robinson?
Or 80? No, the Robinson Centre was in Castlereagh. But the ice bowl was built in '86.
Did he not want it named after him? Or maybe I'm confused. Yeah.
I think it's demolished.
In Castlereagh, there's a big office building that used to be Castlereagh.
Yeah, that was
office. The council offices opposite the what do you call it? The forest side. Yeah. And it's lying empty. But I was there, did gigs in there. And it's just disappeared.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone.
Shocking.
Yeah. Well, the ice bowl was 86, and then we got a McDonald's in 92, so we were on it. I mean, if Bangor's got city status, the McDonald's and ice bowl.
And you've got David Lloyd's as well around the corner.
Yeah, I know. It's actually, it's a good place. People go. People in Dundonald have an issue with you relentlessly taking the piss out of it, and I'm like, going. It's sort of like. My version of Dundonald Online is sort of like Springfield in The Simpsons. It's any town, Northern Ireland, So, there's no real malice in it. There are so many. Dundonald's a great place. Thankfully you have the hospital on your doorstep. You have Stormont. You have Billy Neal. David Lloyd. It's a good place.
Do you know where the name Dundonald originates from?
It was Irish.
That's what I wonder. Was it Irish to begin with?
Yeah, it was definitely.
Fort, isn't it?
Well, apparently that was the largest man-made hill in Ireland.
What?
With a moat.
Really?
Probably the only man-made hill.
How many man-made hills are there?
Well, exactly. Why didn't they just stick the fort in one that was already there, save themselves a bother? But yeah, that Mott and Bailey that's been there apparently is the largest man-made hill in Ireland.
Wow. Oh, there you go. You see, you can get this podcast. You learn.
It's only about 5 feet.
Yeah, well, that's it. That's been the amount of people going up to get pissed on top of it over the last
that's more than
200 years. But heck, it was done. it's come about Dundonald or something like that. I think that was the original Irish. I'm not sure what it meant, what it translated to.
It all comes in the Irish. Everything does. You know? So I remember you started the DLA stuff, and then you did a play with our late great friend, BJ Hogg.
Yeah.
Praise the Shroud.
Yes, and then he started singing my praises to you guys. I think that's how I met.
Is that how we met? Is that how we met? Yeah, because that was in was that in
2016 or 2017? I think that was. Yeah, the first run it went on. The second run the following year.
Yes, our great friend, the late lamented BJ Hogg, who played, of course, Big Mervyn, and you were a freelance actor, and it was Threes of Shroud was a really successful play.
Yeah, it was with Martin Lynch, and it was about feuding on. It's actually sort of mirroring what's happening now. It was the case of Protestants and Catholics coming together to hate someone else. Which is sort of happening currently if you see the protests and stuff like that. Yeah. But this was about this young Polish undertaker who comes in and encroaches on their territory and upsets them, and so they come together, they oust her and go back to hating each other, sort of thing. But then it turns out they're all mates in the end. They all stand around in a circle and sing "Hail the World." But yeah, it did well, and BJ was the only ever present on the stage, and this guy has acted in Moscow and London, and I had him rolling about the floor in a pair of Y fronts at one point, and not for my own pleasure. This was part of the play.
I did a stand up in the theatre where it was on when it was on.
Yeah, the Waterfront.
The Waterfront. Yeah. And backstage there was a coffin and there was a large prosthetic male appendage.
Yes, there was. Yeah, so. The opening scene, this young apprentice that BJ had, he has to wash his first corpse, and to start off, dabbing the head and whatever else, and then BJ whips off the sheet and this.
Right. Okay.
That's just say he's well endowed guy, and this. So everyone is obviously, this is in the first act. Everyone's either horrified or on the floor laughing. Yeah. But I remember this Canadian couple who were just there in Belfast for the night and decided to nip in to see this because there's nothing else to do. And I came out at the interval and they were trying to get their money back. So I think it was more the husband's problem because she had seen the size of that. But BJ was. But I remember in the rehearsal on the Saturday before it went, the preview show was on the Wednesday night. And I went to see the rehearsal on the Saturday. And I'm not joking, BJ did not know a word of that play.
Really?
Yeah. It was like, do they all do this? Do they all leave it to the last minute just to show us how amazing they are?
We've experienced a lot.
The professional actors.
But I'm telling you, like, see on the Wednesday night, he did not miss a word. I don't know how he done it, but I was having palpitations on the Saturday.
BJ was old school. BJ loved his theatre and he loved his props and he loved his, the magic of theatre.
Yeah. The craft, darling.
The craft and the little, what do you call them, the little wee bit of business and stuff. I mean, to a great comedian.
Great crack on a night out.
Absolutely.
Yes.
BJ Hogg.
Every night straight out of the Waterfront and the Granny Annie's.
Oh, yes.
And he would have tried to keep up with the younger ones and
his black
did his best. Yeah.
We like the wee whiskey.
Very generous as well. Although from your Christmas dinners, I don't think that was the case for you guys. He maybe just liked us better,
What are you saying? What are you casting aspersions about?
just saying. Right, no, it wasn't a Christmas dinner. It was the.
Rap parties?
The rap parties, yes.
We can't even afford rap parties anymore. The BBC used to be brilliant. See, at the end of the Give My Head Piece and stuff. Well, first of all, in the old days, when an audience came, used to give you a drink before you arrived.
That's right.
The BBC used to give you a drink. And then they'd give you, afterwards, they'd let the cast and the crew and everybody upstairs and have a rap party.
And the frisky audience.
They provide the nights, like going through an airport.
No,
it is airport security.
I'm only joking. I actually crawled out of the last one. Because we left the restaurant and then I think you and I went to Lavery's or something.
Yes, I think I remember that.
And I was waiting on.
What show was that?
It was a perforated. Yeah, right, I was waiting on Leanne, my girlfriend, turning up, and she was late, and you were saying that she didn't exist.
Yes.
And then by the time
she turned up, and there was three of them.
I know, I was bad. So I ended up having to get the glider home.
Right.
We were supposed to stay out and go around the town, and
Yeah.
I was not fit for public consumption. So she put me on the glider, and I insulted everyone on that on the way home. And then the bus driver threw me off and we dandered it the rest of the way. So it was a good night.
See, what I like about your stuff, you write one-liners for something. You do
Yeah.
stand-up as well, but writing a full play is it's a different kettle of bananas, isn't it? I mean, it's
Yeah.
I mean, it's a full 90 minutes.
I have to be honest though, I prefer that of all of the things, because it's an unfiltered version of your humour.
Yeah.
You know what it's like trying to get some things over the line with,
BBC and things.
all of them, basically.
all of them.
It's somebody who has been working on the gardening programme 2 years before is now producing and is giving you notes for the sake of it, in my opinion.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to the stage, yes, the
I think I
production
remember
company
having a chat with you at one stage and saying a bit of a gripe about you were saying, coming from where you were, coming from that you weren't recognised in kind of the BBC, kind of, East Belfast, say coming to tell us about comedy.
Yeah.
But always with these things is the proof of the pudding is, can you make an audience laugh?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
But a lot of the times, I mean, particularly with the BBC, you get producers who aren't really producers, they're like programme managers, and they feel that obliged that they're going to have to give you these notes.
Yeah.
Just because they
Yeah.
sort of feel like it's part of the job.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
the
no,
one and only
that's-
time, the one and only time I got to the Oscars with a short film,
Yes.
that Michael
Did you
Gray
get to
wrote.
the Oscars?
I didn't know that.
Has this been mentioned before, Dan, on the podcast?
with the short film that
Yeah,
Michael
by the
Gray
way, the
wrote.
only way he keeps mentioning it is because we weren't involved. He was
Or invited.
he did this all by himself. He was the producer.
Who
of
was
a
your
very,
plus one?
A very good.
I was the plus one. But a point I'm making actually is that the first day I met him, I came and I had a whole load of notes, and I said to him, "Would you like my notes?" And he said, "No." I like it exactly the way it is. And I went, right, okay. He just needs me to get this one.
Yeah, no, that's the way it should be.
A year later, we're at the Oscars, so he was right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I think look, there's loads of good people involved in it. I'm not,
Yeah.
But it's some. But my point being is more about theatre is you can say whatever you want, and if people don't like it, don't come back to the second one.
Yeah.
Until it's sort of like you told me something a good while back, and it stuck with me, which was we make comedy for people who like our shows, and everyone else can go and F themselves. And I pretty much
Very positive of you, Tim.
stick to that.
No, it's because there are people who don't like what we do. That doesn't bother,
exactly. And
don't get upset about
that's
it.
that's
Your
exactly.
brand of humour. You're
can't-
right. If I don't like your play, I'll not come back and see you.
You can't please everyone, so
Yes,
don't
when
try.
people used to say to me like, "Oh, you make that Give My Head piece." I don't like that. And I would go, "Don't watch it."
Yeah,
It's very simple.
Those people that
about
go out of right. I know, like complain or I'm offended, or like the people that used to write into points of view.
Yes.
Surely it would be easier to just turn fucking channel over
Yeah.
and sit down and write a letter.
Yeah.
I'm never going to watch an episode of Strictly Come Dancing. I'm never going to do it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Right? But if someone else finds it entertaining, that's fine.
Yeah, no,
But it doesn't annoy me.
Yeah, exactly. There's a trillion channels now. Turn it over.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a lot of people. You sort of build up your audience over the years, and you know what works, and you just give them more of that.
I think it's all changed. On the old days, in TV, there were very few opportunities, and people get angry if they don't like comedy. People they take it personally.
Yeah.
Go, you've offended me by now. But now podcasts and live
Yeah.
shows and all
Yeah.
of that. There's so much stuff out there. There's
No, I mean,
many
I've
different comedians you can
BBC
pick and choose
have
who you
been
want.
more than good to me, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. In 2016,
What
I
have you
think it
done
was.
with the babe?
They sent me over to the writers' room, Shane Todd and I. So we were the only two people. There was 12 from across the UK picked. So he and I got sent over there, and opportunities came from that. And I've worked on radio shows, online series. I've worked on sitcoms. So
You should say they've been very good to us as well.
Yeah.
Oh no, the BBC. Just as we're only here because of the BBC.
Yeah,
because
no,
because there is nobody else. With TV don't
Yeah.
have the money to make programs or the inclination to make programs. But no, the BBC have been very good to us over the years.
Despite
and
all our complaints.
despite all, so there was a writers' thing with you and Shane Todd. When was that? Years ago.
BBC writers' room. So basically, they sent 12 of us over to.
Whatever happened to
It
us?
sounds like a kind of Schindler's List thing, though. You had to make the list to get to.
Yeah, I know.
Slightly different.
Slightly awkward comparison.
I know. I'm getting what you mean.
But only a few were.
Only a few were.
Made the list.
Yeah.
So to be chosen
Yeah,
to
it
go
was,
there
I
was
was
pretty good.
delighted. So you spent half the time in London and half the time in Salford,
Right.
and you were shown around all the departments.
Oh, wow,
not just
okay.
comedy. There was drama. There was children's and stuff like that. And as I said, things came from it. I ended up was one of the ones that was handpicked to present jokes for.
Yes, is that who
to
you came
you?
into perforated? Because we
Yeah.
we basically opened up to a bunch of writers and said,
Yeah.
who wants to write sketches and
Yeah.
ideas
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
And then, as usual with these things, you whittle them down, and
Yeah.
people go, oh, I've got a brilliant sketch, and then you never hear from them ever again, and you know.
Yeah.
But see what we got. We have another guy in England who writes stuff. for us.
Colin, isn't
Colin,
it?
a
Yeah.
lovely guy, consistently writes stuff. A lot of it needs edited, but a really brilliant guy, really gives you great ideas and
Yeah.
stuff, which we edit and stuff. But he's very, very consistent.
Yeah.
That's what you
Or
want.
he'll send you a joke and you'll suddenly realise that's a whole sketch. You can write a whole
Yeah.
sketch around that.
Yeah.
like, You know.
It's fleshing it out. As long as the sketch is the punchline,
Yeah.
essentially,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So if you've got that, you can sort of flesh it out, can't
Yeah.
you?
And did you do stuff for Paddy Power as well?
Still do, yeah,
Did you do
yeah.
stuff for Paddy
Yeah,
Power?
so-
Some of their stuff's very, very good.
Yeah, so I work for their social media thing, you
Right,
know.
okay.
So basically, for a while I was doing live tweeting on games, and I made a joke about Wales qualified for the World Cup, and I said,
Was it-
lock up your sheep. Controversial, let's just say the least. So didn't ask me to do that again. But I would write like I would do for the DLA Sports satire. So you know, like the other one the other day was Arsenal. They were so quiet at home.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so it just
90
said
minute silence.
Yeah. So there's things, you know. So you get one-liners and then you flesh them out into, you know, like a bogus news story.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I've been doing that now for about 6 years with Paddy Power.
That's great.
Yeah, a long way to continue. So we've been doing stuff with them, and yeah, now we've got this rerun of Lockdown DLA.
Oh yes, yeah.
And the Mac.
It's coming back.
Yeah.
This is Lockdown DLA. There've been a few DLA plays. I saw one in the
Opera House. Yeah, that was the vote. The vote.
Oh no, there was
DLA.
I saw two. I saw one in the Baby Grand in the wee
Yes, that's
studio
right.
one,
Yeah.
and then there was the one that you made it to the big room, which is a
Yeah,
big
yeah,
step up.
yeah. That was a Herculean effort, to be honest. That was a really massive undertaking. You have to sort of hold your hands up sometimes and go. You try and be a one-man band, you know, and maybe too much of an undertaking, you know.
So you do everything. You write, produce.
Yeah, sort of like Dennis Waterman.
The theatre.
Yeah. Write the theme tune, sing the theme tune. So yeah,
Do you make a living out of it?
Younger listeners.
yeah,
going,
well,
"Dennis Waterman?"
I've had to for years there. I was sort of trying to spin all the plates, so I had a day job and whatever else. And last year, I finally packed it in. Not an easy decision to
And you were
make.
doing stand up as well.
Yeah.
You did a solo show.
Yeah, yes, we. Or sorry, not we. Me. I was did my first stand. It wasn't supposed to be a tour, to be honest with you. It was. I just wanted to do an hour and see how it went, because you were going around asking, begging people, can I get 5 minutes, and wasn't really happening. You know, you were maybe getting 5 minutes every 3 months, and I went at this rate or not. You know, so I went. You know, I'll just fall on my own sword here. So I booked the Strand Arts and for an hour, and the show sold out in a day. So I put on another one that sold out. I put on another one and that sold out, and then just kept adding
Right.
venues to it. But I had to. It was going well. The 3 shows in the Strand sold out. One in the Mac sold out. We did the one in Portrush. That was the last stand-up gig I've actually done.
Right.
And it was going well, and then my dad passed away, so I had to. It was just right bang in the middle of it, and it was unexpected. So there was too much going on at the same time. So I had to pull the plug and give everyone their money back very begrudgingly.
Yeah.
That's
Did
never
you?
good. That's
No.
I don't think we've ever had to do that. have we?
Did you what?
Oh no, we hang on to our money.
No, we had to cancel a show in Oma, but then
Yes.
because Paddy Jenkins broke his leg, but then we had to go. We went back and did it
That's right.
a month later.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh no, that's having money back.
Oh no, it wasn't.
Yes.
wasn't pleasant. No, especially whenever you are making a
That's
living
not
out
your
of.
fucking fault.
Yeah,
Either.
yeah,
Your fault.
no. It was very inconsiderate of my dad. So yeah, I finally made the leap into it, and with two daughters, which is like shoveling money into a wood chipper.
What age?
10 and 12, about to
right,
turn
okay.
13.
Right. Teenage young
but
God,
both going on 18.
Right.
And
Phones and
their
clothes and-
their clubs, trampoline, horse riding, piano. They're out of the house
How
4
do
or
you
5.
play a piano on a horse?
Great difficulty. But no, they're excelling at all of it. So it's an investment. Whenever they're playing, Royal Albert Hall,
No, sorry, children, you'll never get it back. You're
No.
a grateful bastard. sorry, that came across very harsh, didn't it?
No, this is tell you what.
No, I'm saying don't expect gratitude.
No.
No, I have two daughters.
You have two
and-
daughters.
and-
Tell them what it's
well,
going to
it's
be.
going
I
to
have
be
two
it's
sons,
great.
they're all right.
You see the bit where they do the classes and they do the ballet and they do the piano lessons. That's
And
great.
yeah.
The shit comes about 5 years time.
Right.
It's going to become men, clothes, phones,
Right.
and you're going to have a horrible time.
Oh.
Let me tell you that.
book me in for another stomach operation. Take my mind off it. Yeah.
I have two boys, you see, Cliftonville, that's all. My
well, that's
son's
good, you
obsessed
see.
with Cliftonville and just Forest Cliff. So
That's
good.
easy.
That's all you need.
That's easy.
Well, you have to comfort them when we lose a certain cup final.
Yeah.
But then a week later, we
Football
qualify
would
for
be
Europe.
much cheaper.
Yeah, football is a lot
Yeah.
cheaper. Let me
Here's
tell
a
you,
ball.
football is a lot cheaper.
Yeah.
But I don't even. I wouldn't inflict it on them. To be honest.
You wouldn't inflict Manchester
No,
United.
I wouldn't. I feel like social services would be on to me at the
Yeah.
minute if you.
Yeah,
if
my
you did
two
that.
sons are big Man United fans, and I used to take them quite regularly to
Yeah.
Old Trafford, and much against my will. And then the last few seasons, they go,
Them
"Oh, I
bollocks.
go to." Ah, you're right.
No,
Really?
the last.
Yeah, seriously,
Really?
they've been
Nah,
so,
but yeah, you see,
no,
you
they've
see,
been
you see,
so.
you have
they've
to
been so
go
shit,
through
they go.
relegation. You have to be
Well,
a solid fan. I went through relegation with
I'm a
United.
Cliftonville fan. I know what
Yeah,
football
yeah,
mysteries
yeah.
involved in. Don't talk to me about. We had,
And Leeds, of
we
course.
had a bad run called the 20th century. Man.
Well, I
Yeah.
got it the other way. I was never interested in football at
Right,
all.
okay.
But my son was a Man United supporter.
So you were
So
roped
I
into
used to
pen
support
for it?
anybody but Man United, but then he started to get annoyed. so he was about like 6 or 7. He said, "You have to support Man United. If you're my follower, you have to support Man United with me." So I had to support Man United, and I was there for the last time. He's won the league. That's 2013.
No, 2013. Yeah.
Yes, I was in the stadium.
I was
Oh,
there
Van
for
Persie?
Rooney. No, you weren't
No.
there for that one. I was there for the Rooney Van Persie one. I was in the Stretford end.
That was Aston Villa at home.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
genuinely there. I was in the on my fucking own because I couldn't get 3 tickets together. My two sons
Oh,
were
right,
in
okay.
there.
Oh,
I
right,
was sitting on my own with a bunch of Man United fans. Well,
What a treat.
what a goal to be fair.
It was
Anyway,
great.
sorry, diverted there. Non-football fans, but Man United is constant in your life because you are going
Yeah,
on
well,
about it online.
Yeah, well, the
your
last 6
emotional
times.
well-being is,
Yes, it's not been good. The last 6 times have been
Can you
over.
see the
They've
funny
been
side
beat.
of it? Well,
The last 6 times have been the Old Trafford. They've
Yeah.
been beat, which is
6 times.
it's a hell of an investment to see that up. Sure as shit.
I was there for Ferguson's last triumph.
Yeah, I know. I don't even know where to begin.
Oh, right.
I really don't. They're so
Yeah.
bad, and genuinely believe, honestly, on their current trajectory, they're going down unless something miraculous happens. If you just look over the last 3 seasons, the amount of defeats, the performances. If it weren't for there being the 3 worst teams probably in Premier League history coming up together,
Yeah.
they would have been in serious trouble. You know, I honestly don't think it's going to end well. Like, and even if they win El Bantero against Spurs here, you know, could you imagine the Champions League results with either of those 2 teams in the Champions League next season? My God, they'll have to bring cricket scorers in to keep tabs on it. They'll have the brass knack of them to try and set up a Super League too. At this
yeah.
rate, it'll be
Yeah, the
Everton,
Super
West
League.
Ham United, and Spurs, just like this
I know.
super shit league, you know, just the 4 of them.
Are you
So
still a
bad.
believer?
I'm still a believer. Have to be. You have to be. Look, you got relegated with them. Like you have to believe in it.
Yeah.
And
There's cheaper tickets when we're over.
and they used to do stuff like this. They used to buy a star, but I remember back in the 80s they were buying like Gary Birtles was going to change everything for us, and Did he? No, he didn't. He was shit. He was great. Whoever else he played for. But you used to buy these stars.
He came from the Forest European Cup.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
Forest used to buy the stars, and then it would just be crap. You know, they need to rebuild the team. You have to rebuild the team.
Anyway.
That's the way to do it. Anyway.
Clifton will have got to Europe. I'll be in Europe.
Yeah, well, we're going to be in Europe.
It could be anywhere from Azerbaijan to the Faroe Islands or Wales. It could be
That'd be
anywhere.
great.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Are you going to go with them to Azerbaijan?
Azerbaijan sounds like a Welsh town.
Are you going to go to Azerbaijan with them?
Well, it depends. If yeah.
Would you? Seriously? Does he Clifton?
Yeah, how would you not?
Check out the Nagorno-Karabakh situation.
What, Nagorno-Karabakh? What more do you want? A football match and a border dispute? Count me in.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah. Anyway, so yes, worse than Manchester United. I was talking to you about it 6 months ago. You had this play. The play's coming up. Buy tickets to see Lockdown Daily at the Mac, Wednesday 25th to 29th. I hope this goes out slightly before, maybe around about. We'll hopefully get this out before.
That would be handy.
That would be handy.
Yeah,
to plug
the show that's already been and gone.
Show that is your show was on last week. It'll go well. It'll go well.
Yeah.
But you have had a bit of a shit time recently, haven't you?
Aye, it's putting it mildly. Aye, just had a real series of personal losses, you know. Two good friends,
Right.
and my younger brother. It would have been his 40th birthday there on the 9th,
Right.
and then my dad last July. All sudden, you know.
Right.
So
Your brother would have been 40.
yeah, he would have only been 40 now. So at the time, he was 34. He had just turned 34. And he had, you know, four small children left behind, and it's just been a devastating time, you know, for everyone involved. But you know, I've got 2 daughters there, you know,
Yeah.
that depends. So you know, there's no choice. You can't curl up and suck your thumb. You know, despite what's happening, you have to get on.
No,
with
I
it.
met you and we had a good chat about
Yeah,
stuff, and you were having a shit time because you had to cancel a whole lot of stuff, and you had to go back on your career then. But on the other hand, does comedy help? Comedy help you look on the.
Yeah. Honestly, it has been a massive distraction at times. You know, having something to focus on, like, and you know, I will make it part of the material. You know, try and extract whatever positives you can from things like that happen. But yeah, I'm hoping for what's left of my family's sake that we'll have a bit of tranquility and a bit of a break.
calmness,
Yeah.
And
As I said, everything that I was doing just had to be put in ice. So this is really me coming out of deep
back,
freeze, you know,
because
like
I
Michael
remember
Bublé around Christmas, you know.
I remember the stand-up show was going very well. I remember
Yeah.
the tour, and then suddenly it was cancelled.
Yeah.
And I'm doing a thing for you on the 31st of May.
Yes, that's right. So
what's that about? What's that about? What have I agreed to?
what have you signed up for?
What did I agree to?
Yeah,
it's for Pips, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's for Pips. It's mental health and, you know, suicide prevention charity. So myself and a few friends, we set up a men's over 35s mental health football team.
Right.
And every single one of us is currently injured, so it's been more of a detriment to their mental health, to be honest. So yeah, we set up the team, and we've been playing other like-minded teams. You know, guys that have, you know, there's one set up called SANS, which is for stillborns. You know, these guys these guys have suffered personal losses, and so there's charity teams playing against each other with all of the money going towards the nominated charity, and we've raised thousands. So we're having a game 31st of May, and Tim.
You're not getting him play, are you?
Well,
No, not football. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
do you know what?
I'm not playing football, am I? No.
Well, there's a shirt there for you.
Hold on a minute. I have a very silky left foot.
Is that the way you describe it? Okay.
Walking, as long as it's walking. walking football.
Gander ball, yeah.
No, we're doing a gig and
You are.
Doing-
I'm not.
Oh, you're not?
I'm enjoying my 3-course dinner.
Oh, right. Are you not doing it?
No. They wanted a real comedian apparently.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's enough for. No, I will on the night present the awards, but
Right.
you're going to be the light relief to take everyone's mind off my bad performance shortly afterwards.
Right,
So
okay.
you're doing a set for us.
For Pips.
Yeah, and all the money that's raised on the evening goes towards the charity
Right,
too. So
okay.
it's all for a good cause.
You see that? Fuck, do a lot of work for charity. Don't make me say that.
I know, but usually that's
You tell me.
the mask something else, isn't it? Once they start doing
Yeah.
once a comedian
So
starts
what
doing
you're
the charity
saying-
work.
Suspect.
Do a lot of work for
Suspect.
charity. So just to be clear, there's no way envelope or anything off it. Just nothing. There's just no
just
way, no brown
no-
envelope. That's fine. No, that's fine. That's okay. As long as we're clear about that.
Yes.
Nothing. Just not even
Absolutely not.
Transport.
You might get your dinner out of it.
I mean,
If somebody doesn't show up.
pint
you
of
know.
Guinness.
Oh, last time I was talking to you, you had a screenplay. You were trying to get away. That's one way to depress you.
Yeah, that is a really good way to depress yourself, actually. Yeah.
Could we go back to talking about the deaths again?
No, we've been there.
We've been
We've
through
been
that.
there. Oh, we've been to Cannes. We've been to the
my God.
Cannes Filmer. We've been to Berlin. And you end up sitting in front of these sales execs.
Honestly,
It's all about who's
yeah.
in it. You know,
Yes.
and
This is
and
the
you say,
problem.
no, I think this is a really, really good idea. To see if you had Liam Neeson in this, I could sell this for you, and you'd be saying, "Fuck me,
I know,
really?
I
Could
know, I
you?"
know.
Like, because if I could lift the phone to Liam Neeson, do you think I'd be here talking to you?
Exactly. No, you're completely right. You might as well just say what I was about to say. That's exactly my experience. So frustrating.
Yeah.
You know, you've
hold on to
read
Kelly.
it, haven't you?
Yeah, I've seen
You've
it.
read it.
Yeah,
You've read it.
yeah,
I mean,
I've seen it.
everyone that's read it has been complimentary about it. Especially whenever you look at the current climate, you know,
Oh, yeah.
whether you think it's great or not, you know, you've had Belfast,
Yeah.
you've had Say Nothing, you've had Derry Girls, like them or hate them, you've Kneecap. There is an appetite out there for
Yeah,
the content, but the people who, if you think there's bullshitters involved in comedy, my God, and that's you know.
Oh,
in
yes.
film. So
Yes.
anyone that's currently involved in it has just basically wrapped a sleeper hold on the entire project.
Yeah.
And the pandemic was a real torpedo to it as well. So until somebody tells me it's completely dead in the water, I'll not give up hope. I'm really thinking about taking it to the stage and trying to reignite the
Yes.
the interest in it, because it's the best thing I've written, in my opinion.
yes.
Yeah.
And it would be a shame to see it.
What's it called again?
Normal Lives.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So we'll see. As I said, never say never. But that's exactly it. The budget was about 3 million,
Yeah.
right? And then they want a big name. And if Liam Neeson has read it, but he passed. Not like Paul Clark. And so he
At least he read it.
Marty McCann read it, wanted to be in it, but again, he was just about to start filming Blue Lights, and then the thing just
Yeah.
run out of steam. So
We've been there.
yeah.
We've done that.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
we're not t-shirt,
So
we're going.
as I
With the
said,
tiny
mate,
waist.
get it back on,
Yeah.
take it to the stage, and try and.
That's why I keep saying to them,
Yeah.
we could do about 3 or 4 screenplays, and I keep saying bring them to the stage,
Yeah.
and then they just look at me.
All
blank.
some of the best things we've written.
Yeah, that's right.
It's money. It is money. You can understand. You know, basically, as I said, it's going to cost 3 million, and by today's
Anybody out
standards,
there has 3
if you
million
just
quid. and
stick
would
your
like to
hand down the
visit-
back of the sofa, get the change out.
Stephen Large will happily accept your 3 million quid.
So frustrating.
Instead of which you have to write gags for us for
I know.
this week's perforated
That's
ulcer
right. I'm
about
going to
the
have to leave here.
Pope, with the new Pope.
That's right. Oh, hang you.
And Donald Trump.
Thank God for Trump, because the,
He's a gift that keeps
the
giving.
news headlines here of late have been so.
They're not
crap.
helping. The politicians are not
No,
helping our comedians anymore.
no,
Sure, they're not.
no.
They're, you know,
So Trump is just amazing. You know,
Yeah.
he's just an infinite source, isn't he? Like,
I know, but we used to think our politicians were embarrassing. Like, we was like, oh, that's what's going around, like representing us. But I mean, it's nothing now, like, is it?
I know, no. Like he's sharing the Pope meme about 2 days after being at the guy's funeral. Is the president? Like, you know, it just begs belief. Someone would behave like that, but it's getting harder to do satire because
Well,
the
that's the
lines
thing,
are blurred, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we find that the only thing about him is that he goes too fast. So I mean, we've written a whole sketch on what he did today, but then tomorrow he does something even worse,
Yeah.
or even better. You know,
Yeah, for us,
as
better,
comedy
yeah.
writers,
Yeah.
you go, "All right, throw that one away. Let's do that one."
No, he's great though. He's the gift that keeps giving. Long may it
Yeah.
continue.
The
Third
news
term,
isn't-
I say.
The news isn't the news anymore. The news is what the fuck's he done today?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy stuff. But yeah, our politicians have been very poor actually.
They have. I mean, really crap at giving us comedy stories. Actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This probably goes out after Jerry's case. Well, we'll see how.
Yeah. Maybe there's a bit of comedy there. Let's just see. But
Let's
that's
just say,
funny in
we-
itself.
is it what?
That's funny in itself.
Well, it is, yeah, but the BBC are somewhat sensitive about it for some reason.
Yeah. I don't know.
I
why there's no
actually,
sense,
I
but-
actually saw it and sidestepped it.
Yeah.
Because I just predicted that you wouldn't be able to touch it because it's involving.
Well,
Well,
saying it's
as ex-lawyers, we go, yeah, just don't walk into that minefield.
Yeah.
Just don't
stay out of that one.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
Yeah. But we have a few more weeks of Perforated Ulster to go.
Yeah,
And,
I thought for some reason we were chatting beforehand. I thought it was 4 episodes, but I've
no,
been
no,
informed
it's
it's 6.
Six.
Yeah, so good.
Yeah. Was it since you joined we kept winning the awards? Wasn't it? Remember we
what a coincidence!
Yeah,
Yeah,
so genuinely we
Never been invited to an awards day.
We've
May
won-
I add?
Have you not?
No.
I'm sorry to hear
You've
that.
probably
sorry,
seen me at the rap parties. That's why.
The Celtic, we won three or
Yeah.
four
Four Celtics.
Celtic Media Awards for Best Radio Comedy for Perforated Ulster. I've picked up 2 of them, haven't I?
Yeah, indeed. I went once and we didn't get it.
And then there was
time
one
I went
online. You went once, we
I
didn't
went
get
once,
it.
we didn't get it.
There was
Yeah,
one
so I don't go-
online.
I don't go anymore.
And then there was one I picked up and genuinely, and I made the speech saying how, there was nobody else here, but basically it was all my doing. I know there was 6 in the cast, but I wrote it all. It was all mine. And it turned out to be an episode, genuinely, that I actually hadn't been in. Because I had an eye operation.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
I had an
yeah,
eye operation and I was out of action. And all the guys were in it and wrote it, and I was completely out of action. I wasn't in the fucking episode.
Does that not
And
tell
I
you
have the-
something, Tim?
have
Does
the-
it not
Does that
sound
not
like
tell you
my
something,
mantelpiece.
Does it not tell you something?
I don't-
When you weren't there writing.
No, we
the
won. We
award.
won 3 or 4 other ones. Well, shut up.
Yeah, I guess this is my 9th. This is my 9th series.
Is
yeah.
it your 9th series? Bloody hell!
I think 2016
Right.
was the first one. Aye.
Yeah. It's still going perfect.
It's great fun to do. I love
Believe it
doing
or
it.
not, was our first ever radio show. It started in 1991.
Yeah, I know.
That's a great title.
Yeah.
It
Oh,
doesn't
that
get
came
as
up.
much. I mean, it was Charlie Warmington,
It was Charlie
the great
Warner.
Charlie Warmington, who used to produce us. Charlie was, one of the guys in the BBC, but one of the guys in the BBC who was really into his comedy, and he came up with the title "Perforated Ulster." We thought, it's a great title.
It is. It's brilliant.
Yeah, Charlie was one of those old school guys who kept the flame of comedy and satire
Yeah,
going in
he
the
did,
dark
wasn't
days. Genuinely,
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
70s and
Yeah.
80s, he was doing stuff on Radio Ulster, I think called Northern Lights,
Northern
and he
Lights,
did
that's right.
bits and pieces of
Yeah.
comedy, and he took to us when we emerged in the mid to late 80s. He was our producer, lovely guy. Still going, Charlie, still going. He's still next
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nice.
down in Fermanagh, he is,
You've got a later slot now.
1:30 in the afternoon. I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on with Radio Ulster at the moment. But it's all sounds. They want to listen to sounds. People don't. That's like TV now. People don't watch TV. And they don't.
Yeah.
Well, the radio's always on in the background. So a lot of people listen to it in the car.
Yeah.
Same with the blame game and stuff like that.
No, it's great. I mean, I've enjoyed it. And what was the other thing I submitted for? Didn't get it though.
You didn't get it?
Yeah. Dry your eyes.
Dry your eyes.
Oh, yeah. Well.
Oh yes.
We shall draw a veil.
Yeah, we're dropping it. Yeah.
The old dry your eyes. There are loads of those clips online. Still, the
They were
old
great.
dry
Yes.
your eyes with the McDonald's.
Because it was
and-
because you'd come to me and said that they were planning on reviving.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a revival that didn't quite
Aye.
come off, shall we say, because they didn't go back to the old.
We wanted to go, there was a kind of a.
So yeah, there were things like Arthur Heckler and and Derek the Lynfield fan. Those are all-
Because that's who I was
right.
writing for
Well,
specifically.
That was the original brief, and then as discussed, BBC changed their mind.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for that.
Brief.
Do you know
Because-
Do you know if you want to solve the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, look up Derek the Lynfield fan on iPlayer, or not on YouTube. Derek the Lynfield fan, dry your eyes, because he genuinely does. He does it. And then
does it in a way,
it was actually another war several years ago with the Israelis were attacking Lebanon, and Derek the Lynfield fan goes to the United Nations and basically solves the Israeli-Palestinian crisis in about 3 sentences.
Yeah.
He's very good.
The one on the plane with the hijackers is probably my favourite.
Yeah.
You were,
Yeah, still doing the rounds.
Yeah.
Still doing the rounds.
Yeah, the hijacker.
Yeah.
The one with Marty McCann as well. My favourite was one where his mother-in-law dies.
Oh yes,
His
that's
mother-in-law
right.
dies, and he's just
Yeah.
about to go on holiday and goes down to the hospital. And Marty McCann and Emma Little are the doctor and the nurse. And he goes in behind this screen and shouts at his mother-in-law and tells her he knows what she's at. He's going to 2 weeks in Lanzarote. Get out of her fucking bed and walk.
Yeah.
Take up that bed.
The other one where he just went on holiday, complaining about being freezing and then.
Oh yeah, the sun.
Alright, it's so typical Northern Ireland.
Typical Northern Ireland, yes.
I've heard people use that
What?
phrase.
This heat is fucking dead.
Yeah.
Oh, Derek the Lynfield. Look those up, ladies and gentlemen. They're
Yes.
on you. We don't get any money out of that, sure. We don't.
No, we do not.
Derek the Lynfield fan on YouTube. Yeah. But yes, sadly that revival didn't quite work. But you never know. You never know these things.
To come on cycles.
Are you going to go back to stand up then? You're going to do stand? You see how the play goes.
Well, I'm gonna. I'm in talks at the minute about a tour in Easter of next year. So I'm going to be represented, and they're sorting it out. So rather than me,
Represented.
I can concentrate on writing jokes as opposed to dealing with billboards and
Right.
graphic
Good stuff.
designers
Good stuff.
and stuff like that.
Getting phone calls from the Burnavon Theatre in Cookstown.
Yeah. So I'm going to be doing it in Easter. I think it's between the end of April and beginning of May next year. And a couple of Belfast shows in the Limelight.
Excellent.
All right.
Yeah, and then a bit of a tour. But I get to play out of the road first and foremost,
Right.
and then get back to stand up,
Right.
writing a new hour, and then trying it out and all the fun that goes along with that.
Well, best of luck, yeah. Listen, Lockdown DLA at the Mac, Wednesday 25th to 29th. Get tickets now. Hope you go back to the stand-up. And the big gig on the 31st, are tickets available for that, or people are you
No,
sold
it's
out?
sold out now.
It's sold out? Ah, there you go.
Oh, that's
You
good.
see?
Yeah.
That was my name, wasn't
It was struggling until then.
You take that look of contempt off your face, young man. So for Pips on the 31st of May, look forward to that. I will see you there. Ladies and gentlemen, we're delighted to have Stephen Large. Go and see him in the... no, he won't see you, but you
I might be there, but
might be there.
Yeah.
Lockdown deal. Who's it? Matthew
McElhenney,
Ian's son, of course.
Ian and Marie's our son, and then Matthew Forsyth
Right.
of Blue Lights.
Oh, right.
He's the slippery lawyer in
Right.
Blue Lights.
Well, I hope there's no such thing as a slippery line.
Well, not since she's retired, you know. But yeah, they're brilliant. They're really good,
Yeah.
really good. They
Matthew's
play
very
off each
good.
other, yeah. So this was on 2022. As soon as we came out of lockdown, really, and then the backlog of other shows were fulfilled, we got that one up and running, and it sold out. And honestly, the feedback was great. So the boys were bending me ear, telling me to bring it back, and I was like going, all right. I said it was the last one, but sure, it technically isn't the new one. So does that?
Yeah. It's a
So
revival.
so we used the 5th anniversary of the lockdown,
Right.
March 2020, as the excuse.
Excellent.
So yeah, it's doing well. Still a few tickets left. So please come and see it.
Please come and see it. Stephen, thank you very much for being
No,
on
thank
the
you
Give
for
My
having me
Head
on.
podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for episode 39. Like and subscribe if you like what you hear. We have loads of episodes you can catch up online with all sorts of people. Everybody from Gavin Robinson, the leader of the DUP, to Shane Todd, to actors, after winning Marty McCann.
After
Just
winning
won about
Marty
Marty
McCann,
McCann. If you like the podcast, please go and get tickets for the live podcast, which will be on the 12th of October in the Mandela Theatre, Mandela Hall.
Mandela
Theatre.
Hall.
It's not a Theatre anymore. It's the Mandela Hall at Queen's University on Sunday, the 12th of October. We will see you again next week. Thank you very much. Stephen Large, thank you, sir.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.